Hey, 4th through 9th, this is our last week of art class, and I wanted to spend it going back over some of the concepts that we were learning with our lighthouses that we were drawing in class. We were doing our 2-point perspectives, and I wanted to just do a really simple review on that lesson on how we found our left and right vanishing points and got the sides to our squares, so that you could have that over the summer. You could go back and reference it and practice it as much as you wanted. So what you're going to need today is your sketchbook. I'm using some colored pencils. You can just use a pencil, but the colored pencils might help you find which lines are connecting where a little bit easier, and a ruler would be great. Grab those, come back, and then we'll lay this back out. All right, so I kind of pre-labeled my sheet. I've got it labeled as our 2-point perspective. I have my left vanishing point, and I chose a specific color for my left side, and my right vanishing point, and I have a specific color for my right side. Now, when you're starting any of your 2-point perspective vanishing points, you're going to be starting your cubes, your squares or rectangles, with a single line. So I would like you to find 3 points in space on this sheet and make just a single line. You could do an inch and a half, whatever you want, and I'm using a neutral color for that. I don't want to use my left or my right colored vanishing points because I want those lines to be very clearly the lines that are going back and vanishing back into those vanishing points. So I'm just using green, and I'm just going to pick a couple of locations for these cubes to be in space. So you can see I didn't even measure them. I just have these 3 lines above and below my horizon line. And now I'm going to just draw, starting with my first cube, my first line, the lines receding back to my left vanishing point. So coming from the top corner of this line back to my vanishing point, remember that we put our pencil down, push the ruler up to our pencil, and then micro adjust with our thumb back to that next point by keeping 2 fingers on our ruler and then our hand on the table. We are able to keep our ruler nice and straight, and we don't have to worry about it moving and sliding as we're measuring. I'm going to do that to the bottom line as well. And I'm letting these lines just be kind of like flicking off lines. They don't have to be dark all the way back to the vanishing point. I just want enough of that line to see that that's where it's going back to. All right, so now we're going to switch to our right vanishing point. So I need these lines to connect all the way over to my right vanishing point. So putting my pencil down on the paper and pushing my ruler up to my pencil, and then micro adjusting back at my vanishing point, and do one of those lines that just kind of fades off, just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to cut my box. I'm going to decide how big is my box. In class this year we talked about it being like a Kleenex box, so you can pick what the width of this box is. I'm going to say that my box is ending right here, and again I'm going back to my green. So if your color changing as I am, I'm going back to my green because these are just the lines that are vertical that I'm laying out, that I'm not going to have to, they're not going to alter based on where my vanishing point is. And I'm going to come over onto the opposite side, and I'm going to do a line as well. So now I have the sides to a cube right there. But I need the bottom of this because since my horizon line is below this box, that means I'm going to see the bottom of that box, not the top of the box, but the bottom. So I need to draw another line coming from this point to my vanishing point to give me where the bottom of that box is hitting. Coming to the bottom of that line, putting my blue for my left vanishing point down, and just my finger and my thumb, my index finger and my thumb on the ruler. I've micro adjusted down to my vanishing point, and I'm just going to let that line kind of flick off. Now I can see where the bottom of that box is. So all of these blue lines are coming back to my blue left vanishing point. Same thing on my right vanishing point. I can now get this back line from the bottom side of the box on the back side. Putting my pink pencil down and pushing my ruler right up next to it, and then micro adjusting over to my vanishing point. Now I have that bottom back line, and now I have my full cube. You can, if you wanted to, erase these tails, but I would keep this with them somewhat bright so that you can see where they're referencing and how they're going back into space. And then this way, this is a good reference sheet that you can come back to and remember where each ones of those sides, the top lines, the side lines, and all that kind of stuff are connecting back to the different vanishing points. All right, so we're going to do our next square, starting with the left vanishing point again. So I have my single line. I'm going to be drawing the lines coming back to my left side. So we're going to go this direction on the left side of the line, going to the top of the line, micro adjusting down to my vanishing point, and let the line just kind of fade off. Doing it again, keeping my hand flat on that page so that I don't move my ruler. You guys have seen me where I go in class and I just move the ruler as I'm doing it, and that doesn't help you get a good straight line at all. And then coming to my right vanishing point as well. So the top of the line and the bottom of the line, they're both coming back to the same vanishing point. All right, so now we need to cut it the width again. I'm switching back to my green. You can cut it wherever you decide to cut it. And now we need to get the bottom of this box again, because again, this box is floating above my horizon line, so I would see the bottom of the box. Coming to do my left vanishing point line, I'm going to come to this far right line that I just cut, and that's going to create this line back here in the back. And now switching to my right vanishing point, coming from this left line, I'm going to draw back to my right vanishing point. And so now you can see where my right vanishing point is influencing and my left vanishing point is influencing. And you also see what lines are perfectly straight up and down, perpendicular to my horizon line. All right, so we have one more cube down here in the bottom, and this time we're going to get to see the top of the box because we are below our horizon line. So might as well just keep sticking with my left vanishing point first. I'm going to put my pencil down on the bottom of my line and micro adjust to my vanishing point and send my line out into space. Just like that. Switch back to my right. Starting on the top of the line, micro adjusting to my vanishing point. Same thing for the bottom of the line. Okay, and then I get to decide where I'm going to cut this one. Okay, so now I need to see where the line is coming, connecting back this back corner, back to my right vanishing point. Putting my right line on there. Micro adjust to my vanishing point. Remember, we keep our pencil straight up and down because if we angle them, we can get up underneath of our ruler and then you'll actually move where your line is at. Putting your pencil directly on the line, lining up with your vanishing point, I'm going back, and so now I have my cube here as well. All right, and then just for fun, let's pretend that we have a light source that's coming from the top, from in front of these boxes, but off to the right and shining down. I'm going to just get a completely different color. We'll go green. So if my light is up and shining down on this box, the bottom of this box is going to be the darkest because my light source is not able to reach up underneath of that box. So we're going to color these as if we're doing a mid-tone, a shadow, and a highlight. This one is going to be my highlighted area because it's coming most in contact with the light. So my low light and then my mid-tone. This one's going to be our medium shade. Okay, and that one will be our lightest. So same concept here. This portion of the box is going to be the lightest, the mid-tone, and the darkest. Darkest on the bottom because the light source is not going to be able to reach the bottom. Give your medium tone on your side. And then your lightest portion there. Okay, and then the same one here, but this time the top of our box is actually going to be the lightest, and then our mid-tone, and then our darkest off to this side. And as you're layering these colors, you can remember the colored pencil techniques that we talked about, where you color in layers and you go back over the same area in different directions, and that kind of buffs out any of your color lines. So there's our basic layout of our 2-point perspective. This way you guys can work on this over the summer if you want to, or be able to come back and reference this. I think this is going to be a good video for you guys to be able to have. This was how we built our lighthouse with our buildings off to the side. And you'll remember that when we came in to put in our roofs and those things, we put an X over the square or the side that we were working in. So if we were doing an X over this one, we would be able to find that center point to be able to come straight up. So anytime you're trying to find center of something, if you were making this into a house and you wanted to find where the center was for the door, if you put an X over this spot, then you know where the center point is on that one. So after you complete this, 3 cubes in space in 2-point perspective with your highlight, your mid-tone, and your low light, then take a picture of it, send it to me. I would love to get to see it. And then also you will have this video that you can come back to and remember how these different vanishing points from the right and from the left come in and influence your sides. Have a good week, guys. Hope you enjoyed your last MCS 2020 art lesson.